Now, before we get underway here this afternoon, we do have a few rules and regulations to go over. Make sure that we can all have a fun and safe train ride. So please keep all of those arms, hands, legs, personal belongings, and most importantly, children inside the train at all times. Please no eating, drinking, or smoking while on board this train, and please remain seated throughout the duration of our trip. Now, with all that being said, on the count of three, I need to hear a big, loud all aboard from everybody. Let our engineer Rick all the way up there in the front of the locomotive know that we're ready to go. And I need your help because I'm all the way back here. He's all the way up there. There's no way you can hear me by myself. So on the count of three, everybody. 1, 2, 3. All aboard! Very good. Looks like he heard us, so all aboard. On the left-hand side of the train, our first set of artifacts is the St. Joseph Herald Company mine train. Narragansett Locomotive was used to carry lead ore deep underground in the lead mines of Bonterra, Missouri. Large bucket scoop connected to the mine trains used to load those small mine cars full of lead ore called the St. Joe Shuffle. On the right-hand side of the train, we have the General Motors Aerotrain. Built in 1955 as an experimental train of the future. 2 prototype train sets were built and toured across the country in the hopes of making a good impression on the American railroads. While an impression was made, it was most certainly not a good one, as the Aerotrain was riddled with mechanical issues. Due to these mechanical issues, no further Aerotrains were built. The original 2 were sold off to the Rock Island Railroad, where they had run in commuter service outside Chicago. However, their mechanical problems continued to persist, and both Aerotrains would be pulled from service by 1966. Right-hand side of the train, we have Missouri Pacific Rail Bus number 604. 604 was built in 1947, used on the Missouri Pacific Railroad outside of Houston, Texas. Rail buses were popular in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s as they were a cheap alternative on rail lines that saw few passenger riders, as they were significantly cheaper to operate than a full set of locomotive and passenger cars. Pulling our little train today is locomotive number 340. The 340 is a 1/3 scale replica of a steam engine built in 1863 and used on the Central Pacific Railroad out in California. That engine was named after a prominent railroad businessman, Mr. C.P. Huntington. Today, our engine also bears the name C.P. Huntington in honor of that very locomotive. Despite our engine's looks, it is not powered by steam. It is powered by a 62 horsepower gasoline engine. 340 is built 2005 by the Chance Rise Manufacturing Company of Wichita, Kansas. Coming up ahead, we are about to cross over our turntable bridge. A turntable is a device used by railroads to turn around locomotives and rolling stock end for end and to move them to different tracks without the use of a switch. Turntables can often be found in rail yards and at roundhouse facilities. This turntable was built in 1923 by the American Bridge Company and was used right here in St. Louis by the Frisco Railway. On the right-hand side of the train, we have our T-33 trainer jet. This aircraft was used by the United States Air Force. Its primary purpose was to help pilot the transition between the propeller-driven aircraft of World War II and the jet-propelled aircraft of the Cold War. It's a very early example of jet aviation here in the United States, being built in 1948. Now, once you disembark the train today, don't forget to check out the rest of the museum of transportation has to offer. Once you head up the zigzag path, get to the top of the hill. First building is the Lindbergh Auto Building, home to many different types of classic and historic cars. Also, for the holiday season, it's home to our holiday train displays. If you haven't got a chance to see our holiday train displays, not to worry. They will be open through December 30th, so go up there and take a look at our train displays before they're gone for the season. Once you're finished in the auto building, feel free to go through the various rail yards for our pavilion. Home to over 90 different types of steam, diesel, and electric locomotives. Also in the upper level, don't forget to take a ride on our historic streetcar line. Streetcars will depart from the Roberts Train Pavilion and take you on a 5 to 10 minute round trip. All streetcar rides depart from the Roberts Train Pavilion. And all streetcar rides are included with your museum admission. However, donations are encouraged to help keep our streetcars running. Up on the right-hand side of the train, we have our F-18 Super Hornet. This aircraft is used by the United States Navy. It was the very first F-18 Super Hornet ever built. Built right here in St. Louis by the McDonnell Douglas Corporation in 1995. Today, the aircraft is currently owned by the Naval Aviation Museum of Pensacola, Florida, and is currently on long-term loan. On the right-hand side of the train, we have Wabash Caboose 2847. This caboose is an all-steel streamlined design built in 1952. Once this caboose was finished, it was retired off of the Wabash Railroad. It spent many years in a residential backyard in St. Louis County before being donated to the Museum of Transportation in 2013. We are now on the final approach back to our station. When the train comes to a stop, we ask that all passengers please remain seated till you hear the engineer blow the whistle one last final time. Once you hear that last whistle, that means that it is safe to exit the train. And once you do exit the train, please exit our platform towards the rear, following the exit arrow signs. We thank everybody for riding with us this afternoon, and we all hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day here at the National Museum of Transportation here in St. Louis, Missouri. And wait for it. Wait for it. Almost there. And it is now safe to disembark the train.